I'm here with Coach Aaron Christian of the Chuckey-Doak Black Knights. And Coach, we're doing a Senior Day segment on the website. And I was wondering if you could just take a couple moments and tell our viewers what this senior class has meant to you and to the school and things like that.
I've been here 4 years, so my first year was our seniors' first year. We came in together, and one of the main reasons I stuck around and took the head coach job this June, I came in and told the seniors it's because of you. You know, we got a really good group. Kids are good in the classroom. They're good on the field. They work really hard. And it's paid off for them. You know, they're going to leave here as the winningest senior class in Chuckey-Doak history. They've won more games than any class that's walked through the doors.
That's great. That's great. That's something to hang your hat on there for these kids. And let's talk about a couple of them. I think there was 11 in the class they'll be moving on, and let's just do a little word association with some of these kids. When I mentioned the name Colin Cruz, number 99, what comes to mind? Any good stories? What do you got?
Well, Colin's our kicker. You know, he gets a hard time. I didn't even know his last name until you just said that. We call him Kicker. So, no, I'm joking. Colin's a good kid. He's a good student at school for us. We give him a hard time because, you know, most of the kickers we've had are right-footed, and we say that he's wrong-footed. So I tell him all the time there's no such thing as being left-footed. You're right or you're wrong. So he's wrong-footed.
Oh, that's good. And then number 86, Colin Ricker. I know he's played some good games this year. Can you say a couple things about Colin?
Yeah, Colin, he's really hung in there. Hadn't seen a lot of playing time before this year, but you know, he waited his turn and always was ready to go for us, and he's gotten a lot of good quality snaps for us this year. I've been real proud of the way Colin's come along. Missed a couple games this year, and you know, I think it really put in perspective what football means to him, and it's good to see him back out here and working hard for us.
Great. And Dan Wheeler, number 74. What about Danny?
Yeah, big Dan Wheeler. Wow, I mean, Dan Wheeler's came a long way since his freshman year. You know, we started off with Big Dan, and you know, we put him out there sometimes concerned whether he was going to make it back out and not be injured. So Dan has worked his butt off for us here at Chuckey-Doak, and he's gotten a lot of snaps this year, and been really proud of Dan and the progress that he's made.
Great. And how about Dalton Gray?
Dalton's got a lot of playing time for us. I mean, if you look out there in the secondary any given Friday night, he's lined up at every position we got. He's played safety his sophomore year, played corner last year, and he's played free safety, strong safety, and corner this year. So
wow.
He plays everywhere, and always got a good attitude for me. He's a really smart kid, and he's the one that makes our calls in the defensive backfield right now. And you know, it's a guy that I can really count on, and that says a lot. You know, if you got a player out there that is thinking the same way you are and can make some of those calls.
Absolutely. And how about number 7, O'Brien Cox? What's he brought to the team?
Well, O'Brien's a newcomer to the class. We got him transferred in here from Greenville High School this year. You know, I didn't get to know O'Brien very well until August camp came around, and he's honestly one of my favorite players.
Excellent.
O'Brien's work ethic is just unmatched. I mean, this kid, he leaves practice every day and goes and works on the farm until the sun goes down. I mean, the kid just stays at it all the time. He's really enjoyable to be around. I mean, a really pleasant, well-mannered kid, and you know, can't say enough good things about O'Brien.
Excellent. And got some of the big fellas up front. A guy who I've got a kick out of watching this year and listening to him on the field and some other things is number 76, Roger Jennings. What do you got to say about Roger?
Roger's one of our team captains this year, and he earned it. You know, I was glad to see this is the first year we've actually voted on team captains that I've been here, and I kind of knew that name would be at the top of the list. And you know, I talked about Roger earlier in the year. He's a cut up. You know, you come out on the field and you're going to know when Roger's out there. He's carrying on about something all the time, and whatever he's seen on the internet that day is the topic of conversation in practice. So. But the good thing about Roger is he knows when to turn it on. You know, he knows when it's game time. He knows whenever coach is ready for him to get serious. I can count on him to do that, and he's just been a really good leader for me for 4 years.
Great. And another leader for you up front, I guess, would be Scott Crawford.
Yeah. This year, Scotty, he started center for us last year, and came to him early in camp. We got a young guy that was coming along that we felt could get some good, solid playing time for us, and it's Daniel Ridlin. And Daniel was a center by build, so we asked Scotty to move positions before the first game. I knew he was a little disappointed about it, and I just tried to let him know, this is not a demotion. Tackle is the most important position on our offensive line. So since then, he's really ran with it. He's had an excellent season. I look for Scotty to possibly get some postseason awards too. Had a really good year for us. He's a good leader.
Great. And another guy up front who seemed to, at certain games, just take over at times. In Greg Bowman, he just real heck of an athlete at times.
Yeah, Greg is, if you look at Roger and Greg side by side, they're big, 300-pound kids, work hard. But personality-wise, they're opposites. Greg it's hard to get 3 words out of Greg in practice. Greg's dad is one of our volunteer assistants, and he gets eyeballs on him at all times. So Greg knows he's got to stay in line with his dad at practice. But there has been times Greg has been unblockable this year. For such a big guy, he's got a lightning fast 3 steps, strong as an ox, and he's been a really good player for us.
The Granger game comes to mind.
Yeah.
He just seemed to really kind of take over at times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Jackie Roberts.
Jackie has really came along for us as well. He started last season his junior year, wasn't in the starting lineup either side of the ball. We had an injury to a kid at linebacker last year, and Jack stepped in that starting position, and that was, there was no drop off whatsoever. He came in, earned the position, and has held on to it. This year, Jackie's also been starting on offensive guard for us, and if you know the wing T, the offensive guard position is very important for us. And when you get a kid like that pulling outside and laying the licks that Jackie can hit you with, he's had quite a few pancake blocks catching guys off guard. Or, he's just a load whenever he brings the pads. You're going to know Jackie's hitting you.
Excellent. And let's the final 2. Nick Alexander, number 31.
Yeah, Nick's. He's been my go-to guy this year. We talked about on the side earlier this year. We give out a T-shirt at the first game. The motto of that T-shirt is "Lead from the front." And Nick got that T-shirt for us this year. Nick was always in the weight room for me. If I was late, I could count on Nick to have him started. If guys are goofing off, I can count on Nick to get him in line. If I got a problem with a player, or if the players need to address me, they go through Nick. He's my go-to guy. He's kind of like a coach on the field for us. We also asked him to move positions from starting tight end to fullback with the injury to Tyler this year, and he's been indispensable. I mean, carrying those hard carries up the gut for us, dragging tacklers down the field, and also playing middle linebacker. If you know anything about football, fullback and middle linebacker, you get hit every single play, and he's left a few games bloodied and bruised, but I can always count on him to be there Monday and do his conditioning and go through a hard week of practice.
Excellent. And last but not least, Bryce Malone. It's been the Bryce Malone show on offense at times. Can you talk about him, Coach?
Sure. Well, Bryce, if I go back to his freshman year, that was our first year in the wing T. My first year here, I was learning the wing T. And when you design that buck sweep play that we ran, or we still run, Bryce is a tailback you won't run in it. So I can go back to film from 2009, and he runs that same play exactly like it looks when you see him out here Friday night his senior year.
That's great.
The kid is just such a special talent. We talk about the quickness from a stop to being full speed in a couple steps, making guys miss. I mean, I can't imagine playing a free safety and having number 39 run at me in the open field because you just don't have a chance sometimes. The kid's so quick. Not only that, he's a hard runner. If you watch him on film, he doesn't go down on first contact. And as a matter of fact, he does a lot of the punishing when he carries the ball. The guys get him boxed in, and he's not going to just run out of bounds or lay down. He's going to bring the pads to you also. So he's had a tremendous year statistically. Missed one game for us, the Claiborne game, and still ran for 1,600 yards so far, 17 touchdowns. I mean, it's just irreplaceable, the offensive stats that he's putting up for us.
Great. And that's your 11 seniors, Coach. You want to talk about their legacy at all?
Yeah, we talk about it every so often. I get them together and I let them know, my expectations every Monday. If I go back to my very first game was down at Unaka with these guys as freshmen. I let them know kind of where I was coming from. I was the new coach. They didn't know me very well. And I just basically laid it out there the first game we had. I told them I've won everywhere I've been. And that's what I expect here. I don't expect it to be any different. I come from a winning tradition down there at Greenville, and I wanted to bring that tradition here. So we talk about the tradition a lot, and I tell them, we've had a winning record their sophomore and junior year. Now, if you do that 2 years in a row, that's a winning streak. And I tell them, even after the game last week, we got 5 wins we're sitting on right now. If you want to make it a winning tradition, you got to do it 3 years in a row. So they know where I stand, and I think they've really bought into it. And you can see that in the record. These guys have helped rewrite every offensive record that we've had at Chuckey-Doak. So they're leaving behind a winning tradition, I hope, if we can get this win this Friday. And this class, we can really attribute to, they've changed what it means to wear that black knight uniform. And I think that speaks volumes right there.
That's great. Thanks a lot, Coach. I appreciate it.